broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello there, Z Nation fans. You may be wondering why I've gathered you all here tonight. It's because someone sitting at this table is a murderer.
Not it. Not it. It's you! It's you!
I can't argue with that logic. Well, hello again, Z Nation fans. We are here tonight to talk about Season 2, Episode 11, Corporate Retreat, this really fun whodunit. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel for the night, and as well as our very, very special guest, to my left, Katie Cullen.
Hi, my buddies. I am now afraid for my life. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We're also checking the hashtag ABTVZNation, and we're going to get the live chat pulled up. So if you guys have fun stuff to say, put it in the hashtag, put it in the live chat.
Exactly. Michelle Cullen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle_Cullen. It's super creative. I know. I was an art major.
I feel like I can find you right here, right now.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
Or right in this moment.
That is a fact. That is something that you could do. And joining us again in the studio, it's been way too long, our fantastic guest, Anastasia Baranova.
Hello, world.
Well, first of all, thank you so much again for coming in to join us.
Thank you for having me.
It is always a pleasure. You should stop by more often.
Okay.
Please do.
All the time.
So let's go ahead and get into this episode. Oh yeah. Also, I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. As Katie mentioned, if you guys have any questions for our special guests, we are keeping an eye both on social media and on the live chat as soon as that gets pulled up. So yeah, I was so excited that we were getting this episode. When last week it was described as a whodunit, I got so jazzed because murder mysteries are one of my favorite things. I wanted to know, what was your guys' reaction after watching this episode?
I really enjoyed it. I feel like this is one where I should have sat down and watched it, and I would have if I'd had the time, but I didn't. So I feel like there are a few things...
You didn't watch the episode? No.
Watched it again. Wow.
I was going to say, wow, that's a bold move.
What? You didn't... Should we... it's fine.
This tells you exactly what kind of day I've had, you guys. I am out of it.
It's been a week.
No, I watched it once. I feel like I need to watch it again to pick up on what I missed the first time around. That said, I really did enjoy it, and we had some wonderful banter this episode that just was great.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting to have the opportunity to see kind of the difference between a group that's literally been on the road for almost 2 seasons now versus a group that has stayed in one spot since day one, right. And to kind of realize that the people that stayed in one spot are a little more crazy.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two different types of crazy, because there's the type of crazy where you're out in the world and you're seeing all of the violence and craziness, but then there's the cabin fever stir crazy type of crazy.
Which is way more crazy.
Scares me a lot more too.
And it's all these people who didn't know each other beforehand, who are stuck here for one reason or another because their employers thought that they needed this.
Right.
Oh my God. And I've done some of these, and I would imagine that a lot of people have. And they're nice for a few days.
Especially if it's a nice hotel with a pool that you can swim in.
A nice hotel, and then, it seems like the facilitator would be really good for a few days.
Small doses.
Very tiny little doses.
But, as somebody who has done, team building stuff, it's all that fun, touchy-feely stuff for a weekend, and that's great. I can't imagine what one of these retreats for 4 years would be like.
Yeah.
Although it does beg the question, and I actually want to pose this question to the entire table. because I feel like a work retreat would be a really terrible place to be when the zombie apocalypse broke out. What do you guys think is the worst place to be when the zombie apocalypse happens?
Water park.
Airport.
Bathroom. Like, could you imagine being on the can and then the zombie apocalypse happens? Like, you were in the most vulnerable position.
I thought I had it with water park. I mean, there are very few enclosed spaces. And we've killed Anastasia.
I mean, come on.
I wasn't even done yet. Rude.
Have you seen Zombieland?
Yes, I
Rule
have.
number 3.
Yep.
Rule number 3. I
Avoid
just
bathrooms.
Oh, yeah, I just remember double tap.
Yeah, double tap and cardio. Those are good rules.
Yeah, those are good rules.
Those are great rules.
I feel like a water park would be really bad, though, because you don't have any protective clothing, there are very few enclosed spaces, and there's very little improvised weaponry. You can't really do much with a pool noodle. So I feel like...
Or like an inner tube, like one of those little...
You could do a kickboard, though.
No, but you know what? You can wear the inner tube, and then that's a protective layer between you and threat.
How wide do you think this inner tube is? Inner tubes are not super wide. They are not arm's
You
length.
can get close enough, but like they can get you and be like, "Ka-cha!" Listen, I think of anything as like, it's so funny. I think Michael's talking about this. Like, I get what I call zombie vision.
Oh boy.
And it's where like I'll be in the middle of like a real life situation, and in an instant I can see if everybody was a zombie, and what would I do, and how like instantly right now is like if you turned, like I'd take this and I'd smash this on your head, right? And but it's so crazy. But instantly my mind starts to think now of how do I use it as a weapon? How do I get out? Da, 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 da. Crazy.
There's a
So do you keep a Z-Whacker in your car?
I would steal that thing if I got to be on set and that was my prop of choice. I would totally take it home.
I think that you get away with that one. But they wouldn't be like, you
No,
know who took it? I wonder.
Who could it possibly have been? If we use deductive reasoning, we may very well be able to deduce who is behind this
Process of
nefarious.
elimination.
It was Iggy.
I do love that deductive reasoning just went straight out the window. I love
did.
that. We're going to do deductive reasoning. We're going to do this. It's like, no, real people are bad at detective stories.
Wow, you
they
see.
just are.
Yeah, but wasn't it sexy when Vasquez was like, back up, this is my scene. I was a cop for 10 years. I was like, who made you the boss? I did. I'm like, yeah, Vasquez, take your shirt off. Take it. Doesn't he wear too much clothing in this program? Shouldn't Matt
Not only does he
Cedeno
wear a shirt,
take
but
his
also
shirt
like
off
a vest over
all
it
the
as well.
time?
Here, scoot in. Let's be friends.
Listen.
Scoot in a little bit. Let's be friends. All right.
That's what I say. Carry on. Anyway.
No, I actually am talking to you. Scoot in. Let's be friends.
Yeah, we're getting a note from the engineer.
We are.
Scoot-
Wait,
scoot
Anastasia, move closer to Michelle.
Well,
There. Aw.
Hang on. I need my camera open for this one.
So after we get this moment after we get this moment for posterity, what we should do is talk about this opening scene.
This is beautiful.
With the fire.
Let's.
Do you want to scoot a little?
She's so warm. Honey.
It's getting hot in the studio, isn't it?
Wait,
It's a vapor.
Is this good? How'd I do?
There, you're fine. Right.
I should have gotten my fan out of my purse. Do the old-fashioned.
Listen.
So this opening scene with the fire. First of all, I love the lighting and the seeing all of the fight and
It's
the
so
zombies in
pretty.
silhouettes,
Right.
With the
And the
orange.
music.
Oh.
With the music. Very
so
nice.
good. And
Nice
I
touch,
love-
Jody.
I
Nice
love
touch.
the makeup too.
Oh, yeah. 10K's ricochet shot was the point where I was just
Right.
like, yep,
Yep,
this.
and that's Z Nation. Every episode, there's a bit where I'm like, and that's Z Nation for you. And I think that was totally one of those where, like, of course.
Hashtag
Z-Nation
Z-Nation
physics.
physics. Yeah.
Wait, did you guys come up? You know, we have a thing, hashtag Z Nation Science.
Oh, yeah.
You go, okay.
Yeah. Z-Nation
We got
physics is a subset of that.
Yeah.
Because it is a science.
It is.
Yeah, that's very true. But I also want to point out the costuming for this opening scene because everybody, had to change and like have something around their mouth because of the fire. I loved your costumes this season.
Oh,
yes. Addy has a new look and I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I got hooked up. My girl Ashley is my boo. Yeah, man, she just it's television, so it's a vision-based medium that we work in. So our looks are, they tell a lot of the story, right? So really, really excited to see where she took the show this year, because I think like it really, in an instant, just kind of like took it to a whole nother level, and I got to have a lot of fun with it. Somebody actually tweeted like, "Where does Addy get all these earrings?" And I was like, "That's why you noticed." And that's something that she was really on board with, and I feel like I do that for Addy just because to me that's like her maintaining some sort of normalcy in life. Do you know what I mean? That's what people do. They wear earrings because they think they're cute. You know what I mean? And I think that's just like one of those little things that she's like, nope, life is normal, and I look cute with earrings, so I'm gonna wear them.
And she's an artist too. We've known that from the first episode. And she, as the season has gone on, she's lost ways of expressing that, and so now that's probably one of the only ways she has left.
It totally is. And Ashley really plays team with me and like lets me have. I start wearing a Casio watch at some point in the season, and when I first pitched it, I was like, "Can I get a watch?" And it's kind of like, "Well, why? You don't need it." And I was like, I feel like that's just again something that, because she kind of becomes number 2 this year, right? She's kind of Warren's right hand man, and I just feel like she'd be the kind of girl who's like, you know what, I got to watch because we're doing business. Okay, there's real stuff happening.
We are on a timetable.
We're on a time. I have money to do, and I can multiply. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know numbers and shit. So, wait, can I curse on the show?
We keep it at the level.
We try not to.
We keep it at the level of the show itself.
One. You get one an episode. Okay, I didn't say it.
So I take it back.
I didn't say it.
It's okay. Now that it's happened, we can go nuts.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I loved this opening scene with the combination of the visuals and the music. It was like poetry.
It was beautiful.
It was so great.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, it was just lovely.
Yeah.
So they come across this hotel, and it's so adorable that 10K's never been in a hotel before.
I know, right?
It's just adorable.
Do you have a pool? You're drinking it.
Aw, that's so sad. He just wanted to see what the pool was like.
The baby.
Did he witness the zombie pool that Murphy fell into in Cheyenne?
I don't think so.
remember.
I don't think he did.
I think he missed that.
I think
bit.
because they ran over that.
I think he would have ruined him for pools.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, right?
That's an effective deterrent.
Poor kid. Poor kid.
This is why we can't have nice things.
That's why we can't have nice things.
But so they come across this group inside of this hotel who they weren't even going to let them in. Like the group had voted against it, and Ignatius.
Is that not the great? I tweeted #Ignatius.
That's just a great name.
I work at a Jesuit school. And so it's just St. Ignatius of Loyola was the founder of the Jesuit order. And so it's like, oh, Ignatius. All right.
You must have just
immediately
died laughing. That's
Do you want to start calling him
hilarious.
Saint Iggy?
No, I don't. I will say that
I feel
if
like
you
he'd be on board with that.
look up the story of St. Ignatius, he was kind of a terrifying badass.
Like Iggy on Z Nation.
He was St. Ignatius was all a little wild.
Iggy only
And by
had
a little, I
hammer.
mean extremely.
Okay, I like that.
He had a hammer and a mission.
Yeah, he did.
We do have a couple questions on Twitter. Alicia Perez wants to know if you, Anastasia, think that Addy's over Mac yet.
Huh. I assume she means at this point in the season. Well, I mean, that's like a yes and no, right? I mean,
She has to move on.
I think that's just, that applies for all of life, I think, in the apocalypse, right? You're just like, well, I can be over it or I can be under it. And if I'm under it, I'm probably dead. So, yeah.
Well, and
I'll say yeah.
She's experienced
no.
what it's like to let sadness overtake you, too. It paralyzes you, and it forced her to stay in one place.
Yeah.
And that place burned to the ground.
Right.
And just the conversations about there were places for you to stay along the way,
know,
right?
right?
I kind of went, oh boy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I think we may have like improv that in, or Jody was with us, obviously, while she was directing it. She was there on the day. Misha, who wrote the episode, he might as well have been maybe he was there as well. But that was just something when we were like, you know what? I feels like that would be a natural thing. We're like, whoa, how come you guys never stayed? Well, It's funny you should ask.
Funny
tell you a story.
There was a
There was
Once
carrots.
upon a time.
I don't know. There was a whole thing. So yeah, but now that I think about it and I spend a little more time about it, yeah, like maybe not. Maybe she's not over Mac. Because I think for me, in sort of figuring out where this human was going this year, what I came to is like he had to be the last thing that reminded her of home, kind of thing. And losing him, spoilers, losing him was sort of like the last straw, right? And after that, it's like, cool, I can fully commit myself to the mission. And for me, season 2 for her, in general, Addy is now like full on warrior mode. And that means that you are living for something bigger than yourself. So, and it's kind of like once you make that decision, you don't have to make the decision ever again. You made it once and it's just applicable forever. You know what I mean? So maybe she's not over Mac. Maybe that's just something that continues to drive her. But also our world is so crazy that like you gotta just be present, otherwise you're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So
If you let down your guard for even a minute, you're
dead.
gone.
You're dead.
Yeah, we did have another comment on Twitter from Mike _New York. He says, please tell Anastasia I said hi and thank you for always responding to tweets with a Z.
How funny is that? And I was like, oh my god, it's Mike. Hi, Mike. How are you? Just one of like the nicest humans. Be like, he came and said hi at a convention. It was just like, what a wonderful.
Oh yeah, no, he's always on our hashtag every
He's
Sunday.
so great.
Oh, yeah.
He's so great.
I think he also lives in our chat. Speaking of chat, I'm going to start up an argument with one of you. Manbot Mark says, Addy may be Warren's right-hand man, but Vasquez and 10K are the real badasses. Ding dong, you are wrong.
False.
Oh, shots
Denied.
fired.
Yeah.
I ding dong, you are wrong. It doesn't get any further than that. Sorry, buddy.
Addy is
Without
number 2
those
for a
two,
reason.
this mission doesn't happen.
We all get to have an opinion, and I'm really glad that you have one. The nicest humans be like,
That was nice.
Listen,
No, he's always on our hashtag every
he's so
Sunday.
great.
Oh, yeah.
He's so great.
I think we're getting some feedback.
Oh yeah, I can hear the
I was like,
pass.
wait, he's so great.
An argument with one of you.
Time
Zach,
travel.
Zach, we're getting feedback from
We're
the
in the
live.
future.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Hi.
Are you watching this? Oh my
This
God.
is so weird. This is like when you look at yourself in a mirror, looking at yourself
Some
in
in
a
the
mirror.
mirror,
And there's like 80 of them.
infinite girl.
Okay, to move on, let's talk about Gideon, because you could look at him in a few different ways, because you could look at him, because everybody who's in this group seems to look at him like a dictator.
Right.
Like he's just got them all under his boot and he's oppressing them and keeping them their prisoner. On the other hand, you could look at him as somebody who's making the best of his situation and doing his best to trying to keep order. You could also look at him because he's so good at reading other people, because he was able to read everybody in the group the second they walked in the door. You could also look at him like a sociopath. He can look at people, read them, and know exactly how to manipulate them.
Yes, indeed.
And he uses his powers for what might be good.
It's
I mean,
hard to say.
depends on your opinion of corporate retreats.
Yeah, I know.
But he's not out directly murdering people, so points. Although the second he called the rain stick the talking stick, it's like that is going to be a weapon before the end of the episode.
I have the speaking ball.
Yeah, pretty much. And the red versus blue fans in the audience are like, oh, and everyone else is like, no.
What? Hello.
That's all right.
But so I wanted to know, what was your guys' initial take on Gideon? Because I initially looked at him as just, okay, this is just somebody who's able to read people really well and he's making the best of his situation. But as we go on, we kind of don't necessarily see that, because he's totally okay with banishing people to die as well.
Right? Right?
Then again, we had a couple episodes ago where they straight up killed a whole bunch of people to get the antibiotics to save 10K. So we can't sit there and go.
Listen, you know.
So we can't really take
They were
the high
already
horse.
dead-ish.
We can't really take the high horse for this one in terms of that. And it is the apocalypse, so desperate times, etc.
Very.
I don't think he was ever evil. But I think he was hanging on to a system that didn't necessarily apply to the situation that they were in, to the detriment of some people who maybe should not have been banished. And that the reaction was, well, I'm sorry the system failed you.
I
Like,
know, right?
honey, no. I don't think he was ever evil. I don't think he was ever terrible. I just think that his skill set did not really apply here. And in forcing it to apply, it caused some problems.
I don't know, Michelle, what do you think?
I honestly didn't think too in depth about Gideon because I was inclined to dislike him from the beginning, having been at many a retreat and in many a talk circle where you could literally only speak if you were holding the thing, otherwise you got shushed, and I don't like getting shushed. Yeah,
God, that, yes! Although Warren doing that was the best thing ever.
I did a lot of this while I was watching, like...
And I just picture you yelling at the TV, "Don't shush me!"
Right.
I just,
I can't.
so
Cut some.
I didn't care enough to think about him any more than I had to visually see him, because
So
I was like, we're not friends.
The second he started talking and using that tone, you were like,
God.
And I'm out.
you were like, you dismissed it.
That-
You were
I was
no.
like, I would have banished myself. Like,
I'm gonna take a walk, guys.
this work retreat was required. I'm outie. I'm gonna chance it out there. We all die at some point, right? Like, bye.
I wonder if they gave any of the other banished people weapons, though, because we did have insistence when Iggy got banished, at least give him a weapon, so they handed him a sledgehammer and kind of, bye, dude. I wonder if any of the other banished people got weapons.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Yeah, at
But
least
Iggy made it work. Holy cow.
Right?
He pulled a Tyrese on.
If I had a hammer, I would hammer in the morning.
Hey,
Dang.
But I did really appreciate the scene with Gideon because you get so much about his character just from his assessment of everybody else.
Yeah.
And also his take on Murphy going, you do a lot for them and they don't appreciate you. It's like, shut up, you don't even know. You don't have to put up with Murphy.
Don't even. No.
Don't even start.
Somebody asked me, I think, I don't know how they asked, but they were like, what's like the hardest part about playing Addy? And I was like, not killing Murphy. It's the only, everything else is fine. It's just not beating his.
He is infuriating.
Because Keith Allen is such an amazing actor. He is.
I love you as a human being, but as a zombie, I want to murder you.
Murder you.
Zombie hybrid.
We do have another question on the
enough.
hashtag from Sammy. She wants to know, what has been your most favorite scene to shoot so far this season?
I would like to point out that her username is Annie Baranova.
I know. Hi, Boo. There's some people who just really think I'm cool. I don't like you guys are silly, but okay. Yeah, they're sweet. Hi, Boo. It was recently her birthday too. Let's see.
Happy birthday to her.
What was my favorite scene to shoot? Well, I'll tell ya. It was the end of episode 2 where I got to kick Murphy's butt. That was a fun scene to shoot. That was really fun.
And we were talking to was it Michael who was on Michael Welch talking about when we were talking about episode 2 that scene in particular that Michael at least got to still be there on set.
That was
when you guys-
Passay.
Oh, that was Passay that told that story.
Yeah, we didn't get Michael that week.
Yeah, he was scheduled, but then scheduling got all crazy. I remember
He
now.
was never even scheduled. I tried, and then things occurred.
But it was very nice that Michael was able to be there to watch that scene and kind of have a formal goodbye from everybody.
Yeah, it was really, really sweet. And we were shooting in like a neighborhood, and it's like, this is why Spokane is awesome, because people just let us like take over their own like street and like block stuff off. I'm like, sorry, I'm making TV shows. So like the whole neighborhood kind of come out, and they like put up a screen just because I had to like be all emotional and crazy and stuff. But then afterwards we get to like hang out with people and say hi and stuff. So it was really neat. Yeah, that was a fun one. It's good times.
Fun, emotional, but great.
Very emotional, man. That was, oh man, Michael's so great.
I know. Sad that he's no longer a part of the show. But anyway, we must press on. So I do want to talk about this fantastic setup for a murder mystery for a whodunit.
Whodunit?
Whodunit. Because we have 2 people who have been shot, Murphy being one of them, but there was only 1 bullet. So they didn't attack each other. Somebody else had to shoot them. The bullet went through Murphy and into
That guy.
that other guy whose name escapes me.
Greg. Greg.
Sure, Greg.
Yeah.
It's Greg
Greg.
now.
Who
That's
shot you? Yeah, that was Greg.
Yeah, he's
That
waking
was
up now.
really
Greg, who shot you?
God, how good was Russell in this
This
episode?
is
Oh my
so
God.
This is
But
why
it's
I love
working. I don't know.
And I figured apocalypse. You know what?
Just go for it.
Alternative medicine.
Yeah, we
was
got to see
great.
Doc be a little bit of a mad scientist in this episode.
Right? The fact that he was
So
able
good.
to recognize concussion, like, are you ad-libbing or do you actually know whether he has one?
It's the apocalypse.
I was concerned because I was like, oh, he has a concussion and he's unconscious. That's not good.
That's not
Actually, they say the best thing for a concussion is to get a lot of rest. The whole keep them awake thing is just a myth.
Oh, good.
Like, that's the worst thing you
Let's
could
try it
do
out.
is to not. Oh, please don't. I need that.
That's
She's feeding my cat over Thanksgiving. I need her
the only
intact.
reason.
That's the only reason that your life has any value. No big deal.
Zach is
done,
on
Zach.
point today.
But
Don't worry, I love you.
I do want to point out, as much as I
your cat
loved
skills.
the murder mystery setup for this, I will say that it did lose it a little bit at the end, because I feel like this particular murder mystery did the one thing a murder mystery should never do, and that's make the killer or the person responsible the guy who only said 2 lines that you forgot about. I will, because on the one
But
hand,
you weren't expecting him.
on the one hand, you don't expect it. On the other hand, a really good murder mystery should be the thing where you don't expect it, but you look back on it and
he
the
was
clues
there
were
the whole
there all
time.
along.
Yeah.
And you put it together and you're like mind blown. It's like, spoilers, it's like in Devil, where it turns out the old lady is the devil, but she was only there for like 2 minutes, so like you don't care and
Did
you
anyone
forgot about
actually
her.
see Devil?
Or Scream 3, when
No, don't.
like they reveal the killer in that movie, and it was some guy you had completely forgotten about.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Honestly, I love that this did not play out like your usual fiction murder mystery because, one, a whole bunch of normal people doing deductive reasoning. We're not good at that, you guys. Normal human beings who don't have training for this sort of thing are just not super good at figuring this sort of thing out.
Right.
So I love that it was the who shot you? Like, we needed that. And I love that it was just some guy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that happens. So I love that we're like, oh, it's a murder mystery. We subverted the heck out of this one. So I was perfectly okay with that because it was such a ramshackle murder mystery and that the whole thing just fell apart at the end. I actually really liked that because the whole thing fell apart at the end is the story of Z Nation.
Well, somebody likes us.
I'm going to disagree with both of you a little bit. I think that it was still
rebel.
somewhat there. I know, all the time. How many times have I disagreed with both of you? A lot.
All the time.
All the time.
Always causing trouble, Michelle.
But I think it was a little lost when the actual killer was this person that was maybe
see
had
that.
one line, but his partner was Dana, and Dana was a key player throughout the entire
Right.
episode.
Which was a great reveal.
And the underlining thing was that she just wanted out. She wanted
right.
out, and then this
Right,
other
right.
group came in, and she was like, "Oh, maybe there's another way to do this, but this plan is already in motion, and it's
Just
awkward."
take me with you and all of the really... Can we talk about that a little?
Yeah,
Let's talk
let's
about
talk about
that.
Dana and Addy.
Yes.
So we have this character who's introduced to us, Dana, and she and Addy hit it off. It looks like kind of, sort of, not. I mean, she clearly is attracted to Addy. And that's very apparent when she's clearly checking her out while they're trying to get the satellite set up.
That is no. It's a donkey. Okay.
Yeah, so
I was
I
expecting her to attempt murder.
I know.
I was like, no, someone's going to die as a result. Oh, no, she's just hitting on her. Boy, are those some mixed signals.
Heyo.
How, what?
So I wanted to ask, when you got the script, were you surprised that they were kind of trying to take this particular episode in that direction? Or were you like, okay, yeah, let's roll with it. Let's see where this goes.
No, I've been asking for a lesbian lover since like day one.
Right.
I think eventually Carl just didn't want to hear about me being like, Carl, Dad, can I have a lesbian lover? Can I have a lesbian lover, please? Please, Dad, please.
calling him dad?
Well, like, because he's like, it's Carl. He's just like, Dad. You're just like, Dad, Dad, give me a lesbian lover. Sometimes that is super weird, right? No, I call him Carl, but then like sometimes it's totally weird, right? I know that doesn't make sense. Well, anyway, it's Carl. So it's like Carl, please give me a lesbian lover. Carl. I mean, that's your name. Carl.
In quotation marks.
It's totally like, Daddy, I want a pony. Daddy, give me a lesbian lover in my zombie show.
So
Carl,
is Addy
if that is
bi,
your
then?
real name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, we gotta put, labels on things.
Representation, mostly.
Then absolutely. Yeah,
All
then
right.
totally. Then, I mean, yeah, sure.
All right.
Maybe that's just a simple yes.
All right.
Yeah. So I've been asking for that for a really long time. Mostly because I just wanted a babe to make out with and like on the show. And I think it'd be super cool. And so when this script came out, actually, the original version of the closet scene was, I think, not designed for SyFy.
Ooh. HBO.
Yeah, like Showtime, like
Stars.
Cinemax. So it was far more intimate, and it was like, but what we kind of struggled with throughout the whole thing was what started once we cast Jana, who's obviously super sexy, right, and just like has her own magic. What was authentic for us, it wasn't like, oh, just two young hot chicks in the apocalypse. What was real was her desperation. Like you were talking about cabin fever. So we were obviously shooting in a hotel with 49 cast members and however many, cast and crew. So it was crazy, and we started to like get crazy. So that whole conversation on the roof was really authentic for us. I was like, because I think we filmed it towards the end of the shoot, so we were able to be like, yo, you would totally be losing. I was like, you never left. Like, it's insane in here. So what was really true was not that she was manipulating Addy, or not that this woman was genuinely trying to get out of this like madhouse that she was in. And what I really loved was what it ended up being for me was, it kind of comes full circle, because last year in episode 11, Addy's in total breakdown, right? And she is, sort of at the end of the rope there. And now, episode 11, she's the strong one, and there's somebody that's coming to her and is totally like, right? Isn't that kind of neat? And I was like, oh man, that's her journey, that now she's in a place where she comes in and somebody's like, oh my God, my hero, like my way out. So back to the lesbian lover. So I was not surprised. I was very excited, and we shot a couple of different versions of the closet, shall we say, and I have personal feelings about sort of what ended up making the cut. I don't think this day and age it would be anything other than like normal and just a proper reflection of life, which is that humans like humans. Mm-hmm. And
that's
sometimes,
a weird notion,
isn't it? Right? What do
People
you
like
Crazy
people?
talk.
I know. I'm totally, me. I'm crazy
just-
California hippie.
Social revolutionary.
What is?
Oh,
What was
that?
that?
The more you know.
The more you know, right? That's totally right. So I didn't think it would have been so crazy if we would have had a kiss somewhere, whether it be passionate and sensual, or kind of out of desperation, or just like, oh, hey, we're in a small space together. You know what I mean? I just wanted to freak you out. She's so uncomfortable. She's like, I want to go home. You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Which is great. So anyway, so that was a thing that happened, and I wish that we would have made out on TV, because that would have been cool. But whatever. But season 3, baby, you never know.
Maybe next season.
That would be awesome.
Start
Start a petition.
Yeah, because there's absolutely no reason why not.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You're absolutely right. It doesn't
It will
make sense in this day and age.
It will corrupt the children who are watching a program about people dying horribly and then coming back.
That was if I upset with somebody with this, then I'm sorry, we can talk about it later. But for me, it's always been super strange that people loving each other is bad, or than people killing each other gruesomely.
Yeah.
Really? You know, like on our show, we like bash people's faces in and like kill them and stuff, and like.
But God forbid women kiss.
Whoa, whoa. So you know, I'm not sure. I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to understand, because I don't know if that's like a personal preference of somebody's, or if that's sort of like a network, hey, we don't really do that. And if that is, I'd love to have a conversation about why. And, you know, because there were a lot of people who tweeted me, are like, oh, wish, you know, there was some girl on girl action, which is okay, cool, whatever. But I think there were also a lot of women who may be gay who were like, oh, this would have been cool, you know, like shout us out, you know, we'd be alive and stuff, and, you know, trying to like create love connections and whatnot. So, you know, I wonder what the reasoning for that was, and if a conversation could be had, because I don't know, I think that'd be an interesting dialogue.
I always think back on there's an episode of South Park. It's this funny anime parody, but at the end, Cartman ends up getting in trouble, and the whole rationale behind it is that like showing violence on TV is 100% okay, but the second you start talking about sex or being really explicit with sex, when kids may be around, all of a sudden, oh, that's not okay, that's not good at all. And it's this really weird contradiction where on TV, violence is 100% okay to an extent. But sex
extent.
isn't.
Yeah.
So
weird, right?
It's this weird kind of, I don't want to call it a double standard, but it is kind of this weird double standard.
It is. It is.
That's really what it is, right?
Messed up.
Yeah, it's a weird like social thing here, I guess. I don't know.
But you know, I don't know, baby steps, right? Yeah. Baby steps. At least it was, I think everybody was pretty clear on what was happening there. So if that's like a big thing for them, then I'm really glad that that's a step that they took, and maybe they can sort of see how the response was and maybe take steps further. So
yeah. My problem was I didn't like Dana as a character because she was an accomplice to a murderer. Like, the fact that she was a lesbian, neither here nor there, I could care less about that, but she's an accomplice to a murderer, and she got off scot-free.
I was honestly expecting her to pull a betrayal of some sort. I was just waiting for it, and then it didn't really happen.
Well, but sort of here's the thing. So like we were watching the episode together, and sort of when the segment began, Jody was like, you're not going to be happy, Stage. And I was like, what you mean I'm not going to be happy? She was like, I kind of cut stuff. And then after a minute, I was like, so wait, does the ending hold up? Because I feel like the big punch, and again, the idea for me was that Addy was like, oh, hey, what's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? So there was for
some mutual
first
attraction
time,
there.
yeah, in such a long time, there was a slight bit of vulnerability. There was just, you know, because we filmed some stuff that, again, wasn't just like, but it was just like, well, hey, and, you know, obviously Addy hasn't been with anybody since Matt, you know, whatever, so that, and it's been, like, a long time, but, so, it wasn't, you know, we're not just kind of messing around here, or whatever it was like an authentic, genuine thing that happened. So for me, that was the punch, where then to have, you know, him be like, come here, baby, and just be like, baby. What you talking about, baby? Put on a baby. Wait a minute. We were just, you know what I mean? So I think that justified her upset and whatever. I thought that was sort of like the punch there. So, you know.
And then it got lessened a little bit through network cuts.
I think so. You know, and I mean,
that sucks.
So then I guess we focus more on the whodunit. I don't know.
Like, you could tell the underlining feelings and story was there, but it just wasn't there visually.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
So maybe, I don't know, so maybe we did it, because here we are talking about it, and it was really clear by the fan response that people, like, knew what was going on. So maybe it was cool, because people were like, oh, I really wanted it, it didn't happen. So maybe there was, like, a little tantalizing. Didn't they?
Maybe season 3?
Maybe season 3, lesbian lover.
Dad, season 3.
Dad, network dad, SyFy dad. Somebody at SyFy.
Dear SyFy.
Dear SyFy.
It is the year of our Lord 2015. For the love of God.
Can I get our lesbian lover?
See, it's so great that our live studio audience agrees with us.
Exactly.
Although, kind of going on with what you were saying, and Alicia Perez on Twitter wants to know do you think Addy will ever find love again with someone else, or maybe even someone on the team?
Doc. No, he's a stud too, though, right? With those guns. Murphy. Anyway,
Vasquez?
Taken.
Oh, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
my girl's on that, so I'm not trying
Yeah,
to.
you want to step
you
on
don't
Lauren's
double dip.
toes.
I'm not trying to.
You don't double
that's
dip.
awkward, the next morning. So anyway.
Code.
I hope so. Man, I don't know. In a way, our show is not necessarily what our show's about. So I don't really know if there's room necessarily for commitment.
Romance takes a back seat.
Yeah, man. I'm seeing other people right now, and I'm just busy killing dead things. So, but I hope so, man. I hope there's a little love, right? Because then, what are we doing all this for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So.
Like, I think one of the biggest things that drives you is a sense of survival, and then it's also that sense of camaraderie. And like, you have your team, but when you love someone, like, that's a different kind of connection, and everybody craves that connection. Like, not many people revel being alone.
On the other hand, though, what I just thought about was, so I love The Walking Dead, and I'm thinking about like Maggie, and
poor Maggie,
you know what I mean. So, and Glenn, like
spoilers. BT
stuff. What?
Spoiler alert!
I didn't say
Spoiler
nothing.
alert.
I just said their
This
names.
is the warning.
This is where
That
that way
we're
nobody.
going into spoiler
I'm
territory.
not saying nothing, but just the fact that, you know, you are that much more intimately attached to somebody. Like, you lose somebody on the team, like, man, that sucks. But you lose, like, your dude or your girl or whatever, your partner, that's a different thing. So in a way, I wonder if that's something that Addy would really want to do again. Really get that close, really go through losing Mac. You know, it might just be like, hey, listen.
Yeah. Because
coming
it wasn't
through
even
right now,
enough
but I
that you
gotta
lost
go.
him. Like, you're the one who had to give him
It
mercy.
was my thing. My worst nightmare came true.
Yes.
Helen was right.
And Michelle pointed out,
Would've
because
thought.
we were talking about season 1 when season 2 started back up again, and Michelle pointed out that at one of the first things in season 1 that Max says is, if this ever happens to me, I want you to be the one.
Yep. Oh, I saw that recently.
It was like foreshadow.
We do have chat shipping Addy and 10K.
Hey, you know, I was
Be a little
really
young for her, though.
right. I got
smidgen.
really surprised by, you know, on the World Wide Web, many people have been like, "Ooh, maybe Addy and Senke," and I'm like, "You
Didn't
guys."
they think you got married in New York?
Oh my God! No, they thought we were I was pregnant because he was wearing a shirt that said "Best Dad Ever," and I was like, "Oh my God, hilarious! Let's put up a picture." And as soon as I put it up, I was like, "Man, people are gonna take this seriously." And then literally all the comments were like, "Oh my God, they're having a baby!" So I was like, think quick, think quick. So we were like, just kidding, we're in New York. Yeah, so I don't know, I was rather surprised. But I mean, I don't know, it's the apocalypse and he's got that jawline. I'm saying, kid's growing up nicely, but he's a child.
He is.
So unfortunately, that can't happen.
A little young.
bitty.
And probably right now, I think maybe one of the reasons why people are like pairing them together is because Mac's gone, and
Right.
and as well as Cassandra, which is unfortunate. And Citizen Z is he pops up on the radar every now and then because we know he has a giant crush on Addy, but
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like we're talking distance here.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm saying? This is a
super
long
long
distance.
distance.
I don't know how we are supposed to do that.
long distance relationships
In the apocalypse, that's not a lot of.
I mean, if there was ever one to have a long distance relationship that would be successful, that would be
that would be it.
Like, he's got the resources, the radio.
But you don't have to worry about him cheating.
Nope.
There's literally no one else up there.
No one there.
Except the dog. And we're not going there.
That's not.
No,
Thank
we're
you
not
for
going there.
understanding.
And
You think about what you've done. Anyway, we are running short on time, so I want to ask everybody final thoughts on this episode before we move into predictions, because I just thought, apart from the kind of a little bit lackluster reveal of who the killer was, I thought this was a really great episode.
I enjoyed it. I am waiting for the tension that's going on between 10K and Murphy to come to a head. 10K is very bad at defending himself in a relatively legal
Totally want to kill
situation.
him. Not today, though.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna murder that guy, but it ain't gonna be today. She's like, all right, that's helpful.
And
How do you really feel?
I was thinking they were doing a little better, like saving each other's lives a couple times.
Collector, you think that
Collector.
they would have had like a little
Bonded
bit of a bromance?
Friendship.
Nope.
No. No.
How about you, Anastasia? Any final thoughts on this episode?
Oh man, it was super cool. It was super, super fun. And Yeah. I like our show.
It was great.
Season 2 is like super good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's
I'm really proud of it.
stepping everything up. I do wish we had gotten to see a lot of the stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor. So,
You and me both, boo.
so that is my final thought. So let's go ahead and talk about next week real quick.
Yes.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
So we get to see La Reina next week. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Vera is back.
Yes. What do you
Oh
all
my
think
God,
is
do
gonna
you just
happen
live for
before-
him?
I
I
live for
live for him. He's one of the greatest humans like alive on planet Earth.
Someday, I'll meet him.
God, such a solid dude.
Yeah.
Such a solid dude.
He seems so cool.
He's so cool.
And
I
for
could
the
talk about
people
forever.
going, why haven't you had him on the show yet, guys? I tried.
He's
I
literally
legitimately tried.
He works all of the time. He just works all the time. But I don't know. Maybe let's see what we can do.
An attempt was made.
Oh, good.
And then
Well done.
cancellations occurred.
I know.
So, yeah.
He's everywhere. He's work. Yeah, he works really hard.
Yes.
Next week is going to be awesome.
It's going to be really great. And 12 and 13 are kind of like a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're saying, but it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited.
So are we. Just like, this is going to be horrifying. I cannot wait.
This is
gonna
gonna be good.
The
It's
Doctor
gonna be
of Death is
fantastic.
back.
Yes.
It'll be great. Well, thank you so much, Anastasia, again for joining us. Where can people go if they want to keep up with you and maybe any upcoming projects you have going on?
Annie Awesome, ANNY Awesome, on all of the things that are on the internet.
Well, thank you so much. Michelle, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Michelle_Cullen.
Katie.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at KiaXet. That's KIAXET. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. All the rest of my shows are on hiatus this week, so come back next week for the Flash and Arrow crossover, for another episode of Z Nation, Star Wars Rebels, all that fun stuff.
Star Wars Rebels actually is going on this week, so
We're doing a recap this week?
yeah.
Well, I'm not.
Well, some of us are.
Big reveal.
Okay, then.
Anyway, guys, I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin, and on Instagram as well. I keep remembering. I totally remember. I will also be on Ash vs. Evil Dead later on tonight, so stay tuned for that. Thank you, everybody who joined us watching live on the live chat. You guys were great. Thank you to everybody on the hashtag. And again, thank you most especially to Anastasia for joining us.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you all next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.